Hello everyone and welcome to another Viscera video. This seems to be like the thing that I'm doing now, calling out other people's bullshit. I know I'm probably going to get some slack for this, but I really don't care because honesty is honesty, and it's just the way that it has to be. It's too much listening to other people's opinions and ideas and then not actually seeing the real truth. So we've recently had a couple of CCs come out with videos based on the game and how they feel about it, whether it's good, whether it's bad. And we've had some spenders, message them, which in turn has been made into videos. Again, the CCs can make more money. That's really all it is we're having these CCs worried that their cash cow is going belly up, and doing so, they're trying to pull in all the revenue they can to make it seem as though they care about the game, when in reality, what they care about is the paycheck. So we have one that says that that the game is slowed down, that they don't have a lot to do. And another one that said that they're bored at the top and again, nothing to do. 2 months ago, the same person had a video coming out saying that there was too much to do in the game and they needed to slow down because they can't keep up. So it's just very interesting. So anyways, the spender's perspective is it's not worth spending money. They don't get enough advantage, and they're at a point where there's nothing to do. Like my wife had said, if I had a car that I hated, I wouldn't be spending $5,000 a month in order to be painting it. I would probably go buy a new car to put some money into it. And in a way, that is kind of what he did, but we'll get there. So the similarities between the two ideas is that both spend, one more so than the other, and then the CC said they'll cut back. They'll cut back to spending. But if a good deal presents itself, aka if it comes down the pipeline that something is coming out, that they're going to get it because they know what it'll do. But the spender already cut back and told the community that he hadn't been spending in months before getting Mephisto, and that all he did is spend the resources that he had. He had over, some godly number of power cores that he had saved up. He was able to core through everything, which is absolutely ridiculous, but it's whatever. They can do with their money as they wish, and I don't have an issue with that. It's not about the money and how much they spend. It's just about the taking away from other people, because due to these leaderboards and these other things that are based on spenders getting the advantage, and then they whine that they don't have as much of an advantage because they're spending money, so they want to be able to have that money be a worth for them. So anyways, back on track here. I'm going to keep on getting off track, and I'm sorry. Both complain nothing to do in games. CC wants more stuff to be added in characters of the game that you could tweak and manipulate. The spender just wants more events for them to get to the top of the leaderboard. They're worthwhile for their money. I mean, what's the point of having milestones if as soon as it comes out, you're spending to get to the end of it and it's done? I mean, if you're just going to log on to the game, spend and log off, it's not really a game at that point. It becomes like a hobby. I understand that. And you're just going to buy whatever comic book came out, but it's like buying the comic book and not reading it. It's like buying a puzzle that's completed and not actually putting it together. Like, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But anyhow, so the differences they have is that CC wants things in the game free to play friendly, but yet have some kind of spending element. The spender wants more advantage for his money they spent. The dude said that the only fun he's had lately is starting a new account and within 35 days getting Professor X through spending. I mean, I guess you could do that, every month, open a new account and get to the indie. Like, I just don't understand that perspective. It's what I tell people when they're coming into our alliances and stuff, that the fun about this game is the journey. Free-to-plays have more fun because of the journey. We're making this journey along the way. We're building up characters. Yeah, some you might not use in the long run, but oh well. it's about the journey. It's about the climb, if you will, to Miley Cyrus there. It's not about getting to the top. I mean, we could all take a helicopter to the top of Everest and land and be like, hey, we made it, but it's that climb that makes it worthwhile. And they don't get that. They just want to be at the top. That's their whole thing. So anyways, again, getting off point once again, it's just going to happen. It's frustrating is what it is. But they just want more stuff for them to spend, and the other one wants more stuff, I guess, to interest them. But again, if you've spent enough money to get to the end of, Professor X or whatever your end game is, then yeah. And then they complain about, things like war and CC not being eventful for them. Well, yeah, if you got everything all maxed out and they got everything all maxed out, it's pretty much cookie cutter at that point in time. There's not really a lot of, fun to be had. I get that. Like, it does make sense to me. But here's the thing. How about Theorycraft? Put in other tunes. Maybe drop down a little bit in those levels. Stuff like that. Like, our fun when we have war is seeing, like we have in the past, see a team that's, a billion powered more than us and punching up on them in a war and beating them. That's fun. Having some strategy or some team that gets a lot of defensive victories, that's fun. Finding a team that one-shot something that's you haven't seen before, or maybe somebody hasn't one-shot before, that's fun. Those kinds of things are fun. Talking amongst your group, that's fun. So let's get into the things that we actually need in the game, because there wasn't really anything that they put forward to help. They just complained and whined about what has happened and what the problems are, but there's no a foot forward what can help. And I know that the one has the perspective of, well, come watch my videos. If you want an answer, come watch my videos. Well, that's not the way to do it. You have a foot in the door already to be able to talk with the devs. You already are an envoy. You already are a spender. And of course, the spender took credit, saying that some of the things that I've told them about their offers, they've already put into place. Well, I mean, yeah, when you're spending money and they find a way to have you spend more money, yeah, they're probably going to listen to you. How about something that's actual gameplay? Something that actually is something that's going to help everybody out. Why don't we do something like that? I think that's kind of what we're for. So what we need is to have events, dailies, unlocks that don't involve leaderboards at all, that are purchasable by money. Like, leaderboards are fine if you work for it, but not purchasable by money. If they want to spend, they can power cores or whatever. We can't stop them from doing that. Do that all the way. But be able to directly purchase milestone points through stores is ridiculous and disgusting. What we need is events where we can battle not only against other alliances to get top billing by participation, but against our own alliances, like inside our own alliance mates. For fun prizes, like a King of the Hill or something like that. Something you could do once a month and kind of get like a little crown on your player profile or something like that. That's fun. That's interesting. That lets you play maybe a battle of 24 within your own alliance, and you can show up if you want. And just kind of have like that bragging, rights or whatever within your own team. I think that would be something cool that they could do. What we need is something with Crucible, something done. Stop changing the rules all the time, every season. Just have a basic rule set, maybe a room that changes. Or maybe like do some kind of thing like we just saw Danger Room with boons. Like maybe have something where you can, for 10 victory points, right, since we're getting those anyways, purchase a boon to go in a room. Have a max of 6 boons, right, that you can either put all in one room or you can spread through all 6. Don't have boons that are 100 points. Just have 6 boons that we can purchase, and maybe you want to put all in one room or you want to spread 1 per room, and then have that blind to the opponent. You know what I mean? Like, and not crazy shit either. I'm talking like defense up, safeguard, offense down, I don't know, something like that. Like immunity, things disrupted, things like that. Things that don't super impact. Even exposed would be something that's fine, or exhausted. things that don't super impact the matches, but can impact something that would be fun and like a blind side kind of as a person coming in. So now maybe they're burning that first attack, or maybe they have to exit out, see what it is, and then go back in and do it. But it also lets the Whaley Krakens, with the huge freaking teams, just go through and mow people over if they wanted to, because, they haven't built out to 3 stars and gear 20 all the way and all that stuff. So they're going to get their way anyways, but they'll let the strategists in us like set up defenses and stuff so that we, kind of have some fun with it, and just have something that you can get like, the previous season you can buy now for the next season, or week 1 you could buy for week 2, or battle 1 you could buy for battle 2. So that way, the activity thing. So we don't have these leaderboards where you're having somebody that's in first place of a Crucible event that never attacked, whereas the last place person attacked and lost every round. Like, I don't understand how that happens. You can have this person with this massive TCP not even attack, but get a win each time and come in first or second place. But somebody who attacks every time and just happens to lose because they're punching up, come in last place, but they're active every single round. It's broken. It doesn't make any sense. The whole thing's a sham. Anyways, back on track. What we need is a way to see attacks after war ends. See who we attacked with, what the defensive stops were, what things worked, things like that. So we can actually go through as a leader captain and manage those and see what worked right and see maybe we want to change for next time. Things like that. So we can actually keep stats on those if we are the kind of people who want to keep stats. What we need is for Arena to stop the slingshotting. We need to have a point system, like 1 point per win, 0 points for a loss. You can only get 5 attacks a day. You can't purchase with power cores, so you don't have people freezing people out at the end. You have a time limit, like a shorter time limit on the number of the amount of time that you can stay on a team before you actually go into the battle. Like things like that, so that we don't have this collusion at the top. And if we're going to collusion and it's going to be a tie at the top, how about this? How about everybody get the rewards that's number 1? And we have ties. So that way, the only colluding we're going to do is colluding to make everybody have a better time. I mean, it's all digital properties anyways. It's not like you're actually losing anything if we have 100 people get 500 power cores. Right? It's not really like it's something that's that big of a thing. It's not like it's costing you extra money. It's just making the other people happier. We all know you're going to take it out of the back end later on anyway. So why not just give it out? Anyways, I digress. What we need is for our resources to be given back on the daily objectives. We've lost so much stuff. Power cores, T4s, ability mats, even energy. Like when we used to buy energy, we would get power cores back and energy back. Now we don't even get that. Like we need to have that stuff fixed so that the daily brought in is back where it was, because it's not there now. I mean, we're making more gold. That's great, but we don't have the other things to be able to utilize that gold for. So fix the resource management, fix those types of things, not change up the stores, some new currency that nobody actually gets, so new players can't even buy things in the store anymore. That makes no sense. Oh, but if you wait for the campaigns to come out and you play those, you get like, 120K for 5 levels. So you get, what is that? That's a million? 1 million currency? What's that going to do? I mean, honestly, through a week, what's that going to do? Nothing. It's going to do nothing. What we need is people in the Envoy player council positions to actually understand playtime, how to lead an alliance, leading a family of alliances, and people to know the community works in a non-spending, showing off kind of fashion. We need people to actually know these things, not people that pretend to, but actually to spin behind the scenes, or that get into the program and then shut their mouth already because they got to where they want it to be. So now there's no point because we got to toe that corporate line. We don't need people like that. We need people to actually do things in the game and actually help people in the game. Not say, go to my video and watch if you want an answer. It's ridiculous. They're trying to make money off of a game that's already making a ton of money. And I don't think it's right. I ain't making money on these videos. Like I've said, if I do make money, I give it back to the people because it's not mine, it's yours. What we need is time. We need time to build characters in between the next releases. The fact that they're spitting out a character every 7 to 10 days and we don't have the resources to even build them, is going to get frustrating overall. And if you're a newer player starting out, you have so many characters to be able to put together that if you aren't putting these tunes, like the ones that you need, if you aren't building them right away, then you're going to fall in arena. You're going to fall in raids. You're going to fall in war. You're going to fall in crucible. You're going to fall in all these things because you're trying to build multiple tunes at the same time and you're running out of resources. Then you're going to get bottlenecked. Then you're going to get frustrated. Then you're going to quit. You're not going to spend. The majority of people aren't going to spend. They're just going to quit. And we don't want people to quit. We want people to actually play. I know that it looks okay on your demographics or whatever you call it to have people starting new accounts all the time. It means that it's fresh and cool. Respinning and stuff like that. You know, like the spender did, he decided to start a new account. 35 days later, he's bored because he's got everything that he needs. No point in going and building tunes like Bullseye or Psylocke or, Yelena because, they fucked up, didn't put Yelena with the Thunderbolts. You might as well just build exactly who you need to exactly where you need them and then stop. So it's just one of those things where they've taken all of the gameplay type stuff out of the way. We don't get to actually play the game how they want. They tell us what teams to use. They tell us what teams we have to build. They tell us what teams we have to use in events and milestones. And they don't let us actually do things on our own. And those are the things that are frustrating. Not the fact that we can spend our way to Professor X. Not the fact that we can, we have nothing to do because we're at the max of everything and we've built all of our teams over the 7 years that we've played. It's that they're not helping with making things that we can be creative with and figure out and have fun with. We have so many tunes that are below that Aries time frame that are just unusable. If we were to give a 10 to 20% bump on all the tunes before then, make them more at level, then we would have, this a bigger pool to kind of go from to be able to make the game fun for us. It's something that I know it's a dead game, but DC Legends used to do. They would bring out 2 characters a month, and they would upgrade 2 to 3 characters a month. And every month they would do that. It was 2 to 3 old characters that they would rework and they would bring up to the nowadays stats. And they would keep this going throughout. So that way they were upgrading tunes just as fast as they were releasing tunes. So you were staying in the same meta. You know what I mean? Like all tunes were pretty equal. So when we did PvP and stuff like that, which their PvP was not just one cookie cutter. It was you had to figure out what kits match with what kits. And you can use a ton of different teams in order to use against a ton of different teams that you saw on defense. And so doing that and having all those characters to choose from, PvP was very competitive. And it was based on a point system. And so it was very much competitive towards the top. The way we have it now with everybody having their own shard and their own stuff, you're just going against the biggest spender in your shard is all it is. That was one PvP thing for everybody in the game. And everybody had to compete. And it was just based on point system. And every season they did, season was 2 weeks. Or maybe it was a week. They refreshed the points. Everybody was at 0 again. So it was like 5 attacks a day. You got to go in, you do your things. It was like a race to the top to see who could do what. And everybody was involved. So you had different people coming up on top every once in a while. And it was broken a little bit, but it was cool in a little bit too, because you had this way where people were building different teams. And you were seeing different stuff every arena because they were upgrading old tunes. And you're like, oh, I didn't realize in their kit they gave speed bar to this person. Or I didn't realize, their ability blocked that ability. And so you had these different teams that were having to fight against. And it was new and it was fresh and it was fun. And if they had something like that here, it would be new, fresh, and fun. And fun is what we want. We don't want things where we can spend more money. I don't care what the spenders say. Like I've said, if all of a sudden people in NFL said, I'm not going to buy those luxury boxes anymore, they wouldn't shut down the luxury boxes. No, somebody else would buy them. Somebody else would go. If you, as a spender, don't want to be here, then go. There's other places you can spend. Somebody is going to fill your role. And if they don't, and if it's spending less, then it's spending less. Overall, the game isn't going to suffer that much because of a few people. I know they're worried about it. Oh my gosh, I'm being sacrilegious by saying that. But it's not going to suffer. It's not going to get worse. It's not going to get better. It's not going to be any different. It's just going to be what it is. We've had players that have spent a shit ton of money leave before. We'll have them leave in the future. It's not the end of the world. What might be is if you don't get your head out your arse and you don't try to make a system that's fun and engaging for people to play. And like I've pointed out already, there's quite a few things that we actually need in the game that would make it funner and more engaging. And that, at the end of the day, is what we need. We need that engagement. We need that. You could tell somebody to come play this game because of this mode is cool, right? Which was what Battle World hopefully was going to be. But it did not because you messed up. It happens. I'm playing right here RTA. This was supposed to have leagues and stuff. It did not. But it's something to pass the time when you're not doing anything or you're making a video. You know, I don't really have to think about it. I can just hit auto and it goes. But it's something to do. They need something that actually makes you want to have fun and engage. And that it's not based on if I don't get this done, I fail and I don't get this thing unlocked. That stress every time, it just makes it so that you don't even want to play a mode if you can't figure it out in the first couple hours. It doesn't have to be difficult like that. Just make something fun and engaging, something cool, something different. You know, just tweak things a little bit. Like even the things like Danger Room were kind of cool, but why do you have to hide the boons that we're getting when we go in to select the moods? Why can't we see them so we can figure out what we had without having to use a notepad and paper or a secondary screen with it screenshotted on there to know what boons we have? You know, why is it so that only select RNG boons are there every time? Why not just put all of them in the purple store so we can choose the ones we want to pick? Why does the blue have to be random? It's either characters or this. Why not the blue be like the purple store and the purple store have everything? Like, I don't get why it has to be so cut down and small and all these things so that there's this frustration factor. And I get frustration causes people to want to spend more and blah, blah, blah. But it's not fun when you do it over and over and over again. We get it happens every once in a while. That's what Professor X is doing to us because you have to have basically 5 of 7 people in order to get through Global Heroes. Otherwise, you're screwed. So that happens. You know, that already happens in the game. We don't have to have it happen in every single event that comes out. But anyways, this is just my kind of gripe for the day. And like I said, I'm just tired of hearing these people complain and not actually give anything that could be used. Fun, more engaging events, methods, slow down the character release, get back our objectives and the cores that we were getting from those, as well as the ability mats and the T4s, because those are important to us as gamers. And try to find a way to engage people in game rather than just throwing us to your Discord and saying there's some event going on that we don't really need to go do or watch because only 10 people out of however many are watching are going to receive anything. Just make something that's fun, that's flashy. You could do that in any sort of ways, even if it's like a campaign battle challenge or the fine things in the campaign nodes is fun. It gets alliances talking together. It gets communities talking. Where do we find that item to go farm it or whatever? That kind of stuff's fun. Those things they don't cost us anything. It's just fun to have. It gives us something to talk about. It's something to do. The mega heads was fun. You know, the giant people was fun. Like the super small things were fun. Like those kinds of things are fun. They're engaging. They make us want to take screenshots and send them. Like those kinds of things are cute. More stuff like that. Not stuff where we have to spend to get things. Funky costumes would be kind of cool. you know, things like that. But not that we have to pay for it. Like we have so many of those uniform credits anyways that we never used, or costume credits that we never use. I mean, you just open them all up. Why does it have to be certain ones? Just open them all up for everybody to get. I mean, I get the gold and the glossy ones. Like, let the spenders and stuff have those that wanted to buy those. Those are fine. But the other ones that are just basic costume changes, just put them up there for everybody. Anyways, I know I'm too player friendly, but that's just how I am. So anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe. And if you agree or if you disagree, that's fine. Just go ahead and put a comment. I more than likely will reply, or I'll just give you a thumbs up. But anyways, till next time, I'm Viz. Peace.